Welcome on in, everybody. I hope. There we go. I hope we're going to be able to launch here in just a second. The game is about to begin. I welcome you all very warmly to the first game of our tournament finals here. Team Anti versus Team Obi. First of 5 potential games in this series. And right off the bat, I want to set your expectations straight here. Team Anti has the slight edge in this series because they had the better placement in the group stage. And for this first game, they've also got simply better players on paper in the lobby. So, of course, both teams have more than 3 players available, but for this first match, it just shook out in a way where Team Anti was able to field stronger players than Team Obi. So they are by default the favorites for this first game, regardless of all the Civ picks that I'm going to talk about here in just a second. The game is gonna begin very soon, as I told you, about 30 seconds from now. I'm almost done stalling here. People joking a little bit in the lobby chat as well. This is probably gonna be a hype game, regardless of the perceived imbalance in player strength. Alright, we're into the game now. I can show you guys here. There we are. Hope everybody's gonna enjoy the map as well. It's a little bit of a fun one, although nothing all too special, I don't think. And we'll see who will come out on top here as the first. As soon as everybody ends their first turn, we're gonna get rolling here. In terms of distribution here, wow, that is a move. That is a terrible move in my opinion. Any case, before commenting on anything of that sort, the teams are Antiquity, Kismek, and Alkiote versus Ribbob, Sanjay, and Boogeyman. So that is a triangle type setup, right? We've got Boogeyman here in the north, we've got in the west the Celts, and the Japanese here in the east. So that's one triangle. They are a team. And then the other triangle is, of course, Inca, Persia, and Rome down here. So that's the second triangle. Meaning we've got another one of these ring maps. Another one of these ring maps, meaning 2 enemies next to each player, and they've got to walk quite a bit to meet a teammate of theirs. You can see right there in the top right corner, these wave symbols next to the players' names and scores means that they haven't ended their turn yet. So we're only waiting for Boogeyman now. As soon as he ends this turn, the game is gonna commence, and turns are gonna start ticking by much quicker. There we go. The game is officially underway now. I hope it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting no matter what happens. I hope it's going to be a good game as well, though. And we see finally Sumeria also planting that first city, so I can also try and get my spectator spy onto them. The overall spying endeavors haven't gone too well. I've missed 3 of those in the first turn, but that's fine to me. Oh, well, now that I think about it, I do think I just need to prepare one more thing before I can fully focus on the game here. Excuse me for that. The last 2 picks here in this draft, of course, were Japan and Persia. Gotta make sure to get their win rates on screen as well. Hold on there for just a second. I'll be right back, focusing on the action. There we go. 15, 17. That should be fine. Now I gotta just reset the playlist and we should be good. Yep, there we go. All right, all fixed and saved. Now, full focus on the action ahead. I do think teams have a very good idea of how this map is laid out already. Big advantage for Anti here. He's, of course, the captain of his team, the best player in this lobby. He's got Incans, which is a very strong Civ. And he's already spotted the Sumerians over here on the lake. Of course, the players don't have this perfect vision that I have. So for them, it's much more important to scout early on. And he's already been able to find Sumeria there. Good eyes he's got to spot that. Oh, no, he's got vision of this tile, so it wasn't really that difficult. He's making his way on over there, and that is a big advantage early on to know where the Sumerians are before they even spot you, because We all have been there, all those who've played multiplayer before in MPT, which is the mod that we're playing here with slight modifications. You never want to get spotted by Sumeria first. As soon as they get onto you with those cheap Enkidu warriors, they are so difficult to clear out. That's just pain in the back. And really, that's not what you want to see. So good on Anti to have found them first. He's going to be able to prepare against that and possibly set up a warrior wall. If he just places 3 warriors or 2 warriors over here, actually, Sumerians are probably not going to be able to so easily come through to him and bother him. I've seen talk in the chat, in the Twitch stream chat before the game, that it was going to be important for Sumeria to get Enkidu warriors onto Rome's iron. That is apparently not going to be a possibility here for them. As you can see, Rome is on the very opposite side of the map, so unfortunate row there for the Sumerians. And we see Anti actually, I thought maybe as soon as he spotted Sumeria he might go the other way with his scout, but he just made a second one, the Incan Chasqui scout, of course, out of cap, so he's going to use that to explore the south side of the map. Interesting matchup there between Sumeria and Inca, and that is a big player gap. We've got Anti, the highest ranked player in this lobby, and Boogeyman, the lowest ranked player in this lobby, although I'm not sure if Sanjay is actually ranked lower than him. Anyhow, this is a stark contrast here in player skill, so we're gonna look at Anti to try and exploit a disadvantage. Now he shows his scout to the Sumerians. I don't like that play. Why would you show yourself? Well, that is a questionable choice. He could have elected to go around the mountain too, but this way he shows his unit to the worker. Although, never mind, he couldn't have known that the worker was on that tile, so he didn't do that intentionally. Yeah, exactly. He now realizes the same thing in chat. The messages that are being sent right here in the top left corner, of course, are only visible to the teammates of each member. They're not just revealing all that info to their opponents, of course, in case you're new to multiplayer. So, yeah. Alright, a quiet early game, mainly due to the fact that civs are quite far apart on this map, and it's rather difficult to get on your opponent. And I gotta say, that sounds like an advantage for Team Antiquity here with their civs. They've got 3 civs that do very good, that do very well at building, and building civs are pretty good on maps like this that are with much space to build on. Whereas if you're Japan and Sumeria, 2 of the civs that Team Obi elected, you want to get onto your opponent early on and try to make them sweat, which is much more difficult on a map like this. If you compare it to the last maps we've played in the tournament, this is a bit more spaced out and therefore more difficult to make those early pressure civs work, really. Interesting promotion here for Boogie on the Barbarian combat. Gonna enjoy that, and that's gonna be pain for the Persians to deal with, but I like that as well from Kismik. You can see he's been spamming those warriors out early, and he's already reached Sumeria as well, so he's actually the first one to bother Sumerians. All of the early scouting reconnaissance from Antiquity, doing a great job there, passing the information on to the teammates, and that creates a unusual scenario here where it's actually the Sumerians who are on the back foot early on in terms of priority. They are the ones who are first reached by enemy units, and that's going to be a big asset to Team Antiquity. They've got a great start so far. Elk, again, I've talked about this. Oh boy. Look at this, folks. Look at this. The first one to burn the capital in this game. Wow, maybe I've talked him up a bit too much here. Getting ahead of himself a little bit. That should not happen in tournament games, especially not as one of the elite players. Gotta say, disappointment here. And anyhow, he's still getting involved on the map, so he's doing a good job there. Antiquity he's got contact with his first teammate, and he's passed on that vital information of the Sumerian location, and he's now also able to potentially pressure the Celts a bit. He might just take the 1v1 combat here and try to take the worker. He hasn't chosen to do so, but he's also going to get... Oh, that's terrible for Red Bob here. Oh, wow, I wonder if they're just going to go for the hit here. Yeah, if you guys aren't realizing what's going on here. Incans and Romans both have a unit on the Celts here, so they get contact with each other. That's incredible. That's super quick contact between all three teammates of Team Antiquity. But more importantly than that, Ripbob is down to size 1 in Entremont. That means he made a settler in his capital now, not knowing that he was gonna get reached by 2 enemy units very soon. So super unfortunate there for Ripbob. That's a super early. That's the fastest settler you could possibly get there is the Celts. But the opponents aren't gonna allow you to plant that for free. So I wonder what he's gonna do in order to get that second city off here. He's now, you can see he made that settler last turn, but he still hasn't moved it out of the city. Just because he's getting pressured so much here early on. And that's so unfortunate for him. He's wasting a lot of that production now and put himself back to size 1 in the capital city for no good reason, of course. Hindsight is always a blessing. I just can't seem to land any of these spies. What's going on here? I really want to get those spies off so I can... Dude, that's just some crazy RNG here for my spies. Anyways, you can see here 2 settlers for the Celts. One of them is placed on this island down here for no gameplay related reasons. But the second one he's got in his capital. Now back to size 2. He's getting more warriors out every turn, you can see. So he's not gonna die immediately. It's just that it's gonna be difficult for him to plant that city. Now you can see he's preparing to move out of Entremont. And yeah, he's moved the settler out too. That is always such a difficult spot. You see Alchiote there. I didn't finish my thought earlier, but he's made a barracks in Rome already and is starting to make a few veteran archers. Possibly gonna get pressured a bit by the Japanese from over here in the east, but there's a lot going on all of a sudden here. It looks like they might take the row. Why are we pausing? Oh dang! This is such an awkward time. You can see top left corner or top right corner as well. It says pause. Sanjay took a pause here, and that is such an awkward timing for his pause. He says he needs a bit of time. Sadly, I wasn't able to save the game before the pause, because that sometimes causes a crash when unpausing. Very sad, because we're in a crucial point here. There's a lot going on, and maybe that's actually a blessing in disguise, this pause here, because we've got a lot going on here. Actually, wow, I didn't even catch that. So to quickly cover that all. Rome has gone for an early second city, but is a bit weak at home now. Could potentially get pressured here by the Japanese warrior that starts coming in. We've got that going on over here, where Kismik, for some reason, he's made a very early second settler too. And that could cost him in the end. Look at this. Persia is potentially gonna lose his capital there. And that would be elimination for him, of course. As soon as you lose one city, you just die in this mod in MPT. So there we go. The game has been unpaused, and this is a great row for Boogie to take. He's got a veteran Enkidu warrior, and he's gonna have to fight a regular warrior in Persepolis probably. Maybe Kismik's got a barracks already. He doesn't. Boogie is probably gonna go for the hit here. I can't see it just yet. Oh, he's not hitting. Wow, that is incredible to me. Over there in we see some combat going on though. Incans also putting pressure on Sumeria there. Wow, this turn is a big one. I can't believe Boogie didn't go for the hit here. Maybe it's actually the correct play. He went for the pillage and he's probably assuming that Persia isn't going to get another warrior next turn. Well, he knows they aren't. As we see right there, we see Rome going for the hit. They probably were trying to 2 versus 1 kill the Celts here. Again, if you lose one city, you just die here. So good luck there for the Celts. Now we see again, is Persepolis gonna get hit by Boogie here? He's got that veteran against the regular. Rome fighting against Japan down south, but more importantly, what's going on there with Sumeria? He's not choosing to fight there. Probably a decent choice, actually. Well, it's really hard to tell. So he's not taking the high road, but instead he's going for the safe play and pillaging a bunch of Persia's tiles. He's getting a lot of value out of this for sure. But next turn, as we see the Celts also declaring war on the Incans, means he's Ripbob down here in the corner. I'm sorry that this is a bit all over the place, but there's such a lot going on here already that it's very difficult to focus on one thing without missing the other. Japan is going to move on with that warrior next turn. He's potentially... Alright, he got cleared out there. That was a very close encounter. What are the Sumerians going to do next turn, though? They've got this unit, and I think they're just going to go for the pillage. We see now he actually went for the worker. All right, is he going to get that disband off? Persia has now got 3 warriors. He's got the extra warrior in cap. That's 2 units in cap. And he's got 1 warrior in Pasargade. Interesting. He moves one of the warriors in cap out of there. So that leaves Boogeyman with the opportunity to, at the start of next turn, hit for either Persepolis or Pasargade to try and get the kill that way. If he gets a lucky roll, there's only 1 unit in each city right now. Maybe he's getting another warrior next turn in Persepolis, depending on whether or not he's going to work the forest. As the turn is coming close to its end, you can see right there, again, if you're new, in the top right corner, the green bar filling up there is the turn timer for each turn. And it looks like Persia might be in some hot water down there. He's hitting for Pasargade. It's a close roll, but he's getting defended. Great luck there for Kismek. He could have died there, but it's still a lot of value gained by Boogeyman. He played it patiently. He took 1 improvement out. He pillaged that mine earlier, if you remember. And he took the Persian worker, which is a big bonus early on. But bad luck here for Boogie. I think he played this very well. He hit a city that was very weakly defended. He got a good chance on that combat. Had he gotten this kill off, that would have been massive for his team. But bad luck for his side, of course. And that means Kismet can breathe a sigh of relief here and build back up here. It's going to be set back a little bit, but of course he's escaped the worst fate. Celts down there have apparently also stabilized a bit, and they are now probably fine. There's not much more coming towards them. Nobody really going for any super early rushes in terms of just warrior spamming the opponent, for example. But still, they're trying to build up to 2 or 3 cities. Is probably what most of these guys are looking for here, to then try and stack up units. Because one of the aspects of this map is that, as I pointed out earlier, you've got 1 player always sandwiched in between 2 enemies. So you don't need a lot of units to get a kill. Actually, if you can get if both of your neighbors come to you and try to kill you, they don't need that many units just because they're 2 versus 1. So they can actually go for relatively early plays here, even without some massive stacks of units to steamroll to someone. Yeah, Boogeyman still, I think he did a good job there on the Persians. He didn't take the first roll he could get and still got a perfectly reasonable 1v1 off in the end. Ended up losing that one, but it was a pretty decent job overall, I would say. Contact now also made between the Celts and the Sumerians. That's going to be helpful. I'm not sure if the Japanese already got contact with their team. I don't think so. So they are taking much longer than Team Antiquity, if you remember from earlier, who were pretty quick at establishing that communication. Anyhow, so this early game has now finally quieted down a little bit. The Sumerians are still dealing with a couple of enemy units around them, but they should be just fine with that. As Sumeria, you typically don't die early on, unless you're Antiquity, apparently, since he managed to do it in a game early in this tournament. Pretty much everybody gone for that second city by now, except Sumeria, who's still stuck on that one, which is pretty fine for Sumeria, right? You can afford to remain on that one city just because you've got the Enkidu Warrior, which is such a spammable unit that if you build a ton of those, it can sometimes be worth to stay on one city for a little bit longer, since you can get a lot done with that. Interesting. So Antiquity is just saying right there that his goal is to get his 2 Chasqui scouts on the Celts' iron. I'm surprised. I don't think the Celts know that their iron is right there just yet. I don't think they've got ironworking unlocked yet. And he's trying to get around onto the hill. I think he's gonna get there. It doesn't look like the Celts still know where that iron is. So they're taking their time tacking here. They must be lacking that technology still, because otherwise they would have definitely made it a point to protect this resource here. That's what their early game is hinging on. They rely on getting that iron hooked early, getting some Galax Swordsmen, and unlocking their GA. Otherwise, they're just going to get rolled here by Incans and Rome to their side. So we can already see Rome, which are actually industrious in this mod, are starting to rotate towards the Celts as well, and that's a sign of early aggression. That's a sign of them trying to make a play in that direction with their first couple of units. It looks like that iron is in fact gonna be blocked by the Incans here. Good job on Anti for being able to get onto that hill before the Celts manage to protect it. Well played by the Incans, although good job by Redbob striking back and not allowing Anti to stack those Chaskeys on top of the iron. Just one unit standing on top should be relatively easy to clear out, but it still is a minor delay to that Golden Age timing for the Celts, because they really need that iron here to stay productive early. You can already see the Incans are the biggest civ on the map so far, the only ones to have 3 cities out. That's gonna manifest in just better production rather soon. We see also what I was mentioning there, the Sumerians spamming out a few more units and trying to keep the pressure up on Persia. Probably. Looks like ironworking's already done, but Kismet doesn't seem to have it. Interesting. I thought he would have probably already had ironworking. Oh well, I'm pretty sure he's got. Yeah, he's already gone for the upgrade. It just seemed I just misinterpreted his text message there probably. But yeah, he's already got ironworking. He's got that immortals here upgraded, and that's going to be very useful for entering GA whenever he pleases. Of course, the Persian immortals got 4 attack, 2 defense, and they are and that means they can pretty much kill a warrior anytime on any tile when they need it. That's going to give them a free entry into Golden Age whenever they need. Japan, maybe to explain this real quick, Japan is a little bit different from the regular game in this mod right here. They've got the samurai as a unique unit, which is very different from the samurai you know from the base game. It has 2 attack, 1 defense, 1 movement point. It is pretty much just an archer without the defensive bombard and a little bit cheaper than the actual archer is. So that's their advantage. They also have, you can see the worker right here for Japan. They start with a normal worker, but every worker they build after that is a special type of worker that works just as fast, but is able to move 2 tiles in 1 turn, giving them a little bit of a better speed of improving tiles. And especially for roading, that is very advantageous to be able to move 2 tiles in 1 turn with your workers. So that's Japan in a nutshell here. They have been modified a bit for the purposes of this tournament. All the other civs are basically the exact same, like you know them from the base game. A few things have been changed, like Sumeria not being agricultural, but that is the fact. That fact is true in the regular version of multiplayer tournament mod as well, and nothing specific to this event right here. So yeah, this game is still very much intuitive to any new viewers, I would say. So, focusing back on the gameplay, Japan has been left alone for the entirety of this game. And that is probably mainly due to the fact, well, alright, Golden Age taken by Persia right there. They got that warrior killed off. So that's Kismet in his GA. Good call out by Redbob, telling that to his teammates. He's still not able here, Redbob as the Celts, to reclaim that iron. He's gonna try for that pretty soon, I think, because he's realizing the pressure is getting bigger. He's getting swarmed by enemy units. El Quixote, after that early barracks in Rome and probably in Veii too. He's just spamming veteran warriors towards the enemy. That's typically not the strongest unit in the game, but if you've got so many of them and all of them are veterans, that is tough to deal with for the Celts who don't have that iron hooked just yet. As soon as they get Gallics, that's gonna be a bit easier to deal with, but for now it's a bit of a struggle for them, and I wonder how they're gonna go about this. Maybe just spam a few more archers. I really want to see Redbob unlock that iron soon though. He's gonna have to kill that Chasqui off sooner rather than later. Interesting. Wow, is he just attacking across river with warriors there? That's surprising to me. Looks like, yeah, he's gonna get a few of those warriors removed, but still, he's under some pressure there, and he's gonna need to relieve it somehow. Maybe his team can help him out. As I said, the Japanese have not been bothered at all this game. They've been able to build up freely, And maybe with another worker or two, they could start roading towards Rome or Persia. They gotta get involved soon, though, because Japan is quite strong early on, especially with the ease of taking GA, which is so easy for Japan too. They can just get it so easily, but by making a few cheap samurai and trying to get a kill with those that way. Looks like El Quixote is starting to move around towards the Celtic backline here, and Ribop's going to be forced to retreat with those units that he's sent forward onto the road, I think. Otherwise, they might just take that one out. Great rolls there for El Quixote. Wow. And I believe Ribop's just hitting with warriors into that stack here. And that could come at a cost eventually. I don't know how many warriors he's got. He's managing to whittle down the stack. I'm not sure how cost effective that trade was, but at least he's staying afloat here at home. A good job there, I guess, getting the bulk of the brunt of that army cleared out. GA for Japan as well. I must have missed that over here, but it looks like the samurai was able to take out that warrior that Elk had sent over. But wow, I forgot to mention that too earlier when I gave you guys the rundown of what Japan was able to do. I forgot to mention that if their samurai wins combat, much akin to the javelin thrower from the Mayans, it has a 1/3 chance to enslave a peasant, which is the Japanese special worker I described earlier. And that actually ended up happening for Sanjay here. So he's got a free worker out of that combat he won with his samurai there. On top of the fact that he entered his GA, he's gonna be happy with that, and he's quite a threat here. He's only got 2 cities, but he's already in GA, and he's got cheap early attacking units. So if he's able to get onto an enemy, he might be quite difficult to deal with here early on, despite only being on 2 cities. Much different than the Incans, who have now planted their 4th city, all of those cities on fresh water, and with the Incans being agricultural, that is a big boost to their growth. Strong position there for the Incans. They've got pretty decent land and 4 cities already where nobody else even has 3. So that's going to be difficult here. Antiquity, as the highest ranked player in this lobby, he's going to be quite scary to deal with on this map. And they mentioned this earlier in the team chats, but this is a map that is quite suitable for boating too. You can do a lot of different boating plays on this map. You could send galleys through the inland lakes that we've got in the north and in the south, of course. You're even able to channel galleys through those cities. You can see Ollantay, Tambo, and Cusco form a channel from the outer ocean into the inland sea. So they are quite flexible with their boats in that regard. Same thing for Japan, who've also already unlocked this canal system. But yeah, what I was saying, boating is quite easy on this map. So even if people are having trouble getting towards their enemies on land, in case of some blockades being formed, just as the Sumerians are attempting to do over here, with the units blocking off the opponent, you can still always get onto your enemy across the seas on this map. Of course, we've got that single chain of volcanic islands in the back, as per usual, that people can use to get around the map and boat enemies with as well. Kyoto just made another settler. He's probably going to plan towards the iron, if I had to guess. City right here would be decent, I feel. Something I don't like for the Japanese here, they've been left alone for the entirety of this game. They haven't gotten involved on offense just yet, but they also haven't set up a sentry vision that allows them to play more greedily. I would like to, if you're Japan in this situation and you're not going for a super early rush, just put out a unit on this mountain here, on this hill here, so that you see when the enemy comes close to you and tries to go for a play. And that allows you, simply knowing that the enemy isn't going for you, allows you to play much more greedily at home if you're not going to go for the early rush. And he's actually proving me wrong there. Hold the thought, as a second unit is moved onto the Celts Iron. Ripop really struggling to unlock that, and he's gonna need that soon. Again, the Romans and the Incans are building up stacks and are continuing their roading efforts to put pressure on the Celts. So they're gonna need that GA within the next 5 turns, I would say. Otherwise, I don't think they're gonna be able to catch up in production anymore with whatever the Romans and Incans are able to do. Good job by Boogeyman. He seems to solidify that excuse me, that wall he's building up, that unit wall, and not let any more Incan units through. It's going to be quite helpful. But yeah, that's not all. That can't be all they are doing against these Incans right here, because they're just building up for free at home. We need some pressure somewhere from Team Obi soon. That's a bit of a struggle here, really, for Team Obi. They're gonna need to get involved soon. And I like this play. You can see here, galley made by the Japanese. They're gonna get involved soon here, making that galley probably 2 samurai in there if I had to guess. And that's the first attempt at getting involved on offense from them. I wonder where he's gonna send that boat, but it's important to start putting out some pressure. As you can see, the Incans are already big. They also got their own boat here, which is quite funny. So maybe also trying to reinforce the iron hill that they got down there. That could be what he's making that boat for. Trying to get the units down there a little bit quicker so he can hold on to the iron longer and therefore, as I say, keep outproducing the Celts. And yeah, that's what I was saying. Persians already in GA. We saw that earlier with the Immortal killing that warrior. The Romans also made their Legion upgrade, the first one now, so they're gonna take GA off of this warrior. I really think Redbob should move it back, but I don't think he caught it. That's another misplay there. Poor Redbob. I think he's really struggling here, keeping up against 2 strong enemy players on his side. That's not great. He's gotten another worker there, apparently. Wow, I didn't see that. Looks like another effective trade here by the Antiquity. Good job there. Taking a worker early from the opponent is a very big hit. And at this point, Ripop's been delayed so much in his growth that I don't think he's going to be able to put up a strong defense once the Romans and Incans start coming in. That is it's going to be quite difficult. He's given over Golden Age to Rome as well. I think the Incans probably are in GA as well at this point, if I had to guess. They've fought quite a lot with their Chasqui scouts, even managing to get onto Samaria's road over there. Boogeyman also struggling a bit to keep up there. And as I said, the favorites here, Team Antiquity, are taking a strong early lead here, putting a lot of pressure on the Celts, as well as just keeping at least the Sumerians quite useless so far. Not a lot of options there for Boogeyman. Inca roading me. Yeah, Redbob finding out about that road. He's really gonna need some help here, because I don't think he's gonna be able to defend on his own. Rome with those Legion upgrades here looking quite scary already too. So how are they gonna deal with this? I really think they're relying on Japan doing something with these boats soon. Maybe it's actually the best idea to try and get the boats over to Rome or to the Incans. That could be a good play, but I don't think the Persians are going to be easy to kill, since they've got all of their units at home. I doubt they would die to a naval play. But Rome and Inca are already putting pressure on the Celts, so they are presumably weaker at home. I think that would have been the correct play by Sanjay to put units or to boat units over to the Romans, especially since he's got the inland lake enabling him to do so. He could make 2 boats, send one to Rome through the inland lake, and then another one to the backside here of Veii around the southern land. He doesn't choose to go for that, though. Apparently going north is what he's looking to do there. Yeah, Boogeyman's just apparently getting cleared out there. That's super funny to me, though. Look at this in the north here. Both parties making a galley in the northern inland lake, trying to bother their enemies that way. Again, I respect the attempt from Boogie. He's got to get involved on offense too. But now that both of them have spotted each other's boats, I don't think either party is going to get surprised all that much by this. Well, yeah. On the southern side, nobody utilizing that inland lake. It's a bit sad to me, but of course, they don't really rely on that. At least Elk doesn't, because he's getting involved even without utilizing boats to his offensive advantage. It really relies on these next couple of turns here. I can see the Celts crumbling under the pressure there. They've done their best in the 1v2, but yeah, here we see 2 more Incan units. He's even landing a spearman down there. I wondered earlier why he made that spearman. He's able to boat it down there and block the iron with that. That's probably the nail in the coffin for the Celts. A spearman on a hill is so difficult to clear out, especially with an archer underneath. An archer is the best defensive unit in multiplayer, in case you didn't know. So that's yeah, you don't want to see that for the Celts. They're never gonna get that iron within the next 5 turns here. And as you see there, the Romans are already marching up their troops. That's such strong units, a bunch of legions. How are you going to kill units that have 3 defense points without even having anything stronger than 2 attack units? That's the issue for the Celts right here. And I don't think they're going to find an answer to this if I'm being honest. Anti and Elk coordinating for this attack. So the time is ticking for Team Obi to find an angle and get involved. Even Anti now managing to pillage that Sumerian road. Boogie's having trouble stabilizing at home too. It's not in mortal danger, but yeah. Even the boat now getting spotted here by the Persians who are trying to move forward. That's so sad for Sanjay. I like that play, but I think he just picked out the wrong opponent to go for. He didn't have vision here. He couldn't have known whether or not the Persians saw him on the coast before he sent the boats out. But he did have vision down south. He knew that El Quixote hasn't put out any Romans along the coast here to spot potential boats coming in. But he still elected to go north here. He also knew that no units from the Romans could be in this lake since Rome doesn't have any coastal cities. So he went for the best protected player who also he didn't know whether or not he had vision along the coast. So that's why I got to criticize that move. Boats out for Japan. Yeah, he's now being forced to try and find the way around east because the Persians, of course, have spotted those boats and are thus very unlikely to die to a landing. Rome now fully in the Celts' lands, and I think it's only a matter of time before Red Bob's going to be forced to give up tiles here. Pressure getting turned up on them as scrapping is going on here for the road. Why is there 3 workers? Oh, he must have... Wow, good job by Red Bob. He must have been able to capture 3 Incan workers. Yeah, he's running home with Antiquities workers there. That's so... He just went in there and yoinked them away from the Incans. That's so funny to me. Wow, that's so funny to me. I've never seen that in a Tony game. Somebody just walking up with 1 unit, snatching the enemy workers away that are building that road, and then just walking them back like a Giga Jet. That's funny to me. However, it's probably not going to matter. Those workers are a big asset, but they're not going to help you defend. So that's going to be still the tough task for him to handle. The legions are just multiplying here before his very eyes. You can see that stack going to come in very soon too. And as soon as we see the horseman upgrade come through for the Incans, I don't have that spy there. I'll try to get spies out again next turn. Wonder how many horsemen he's got. That's going to be very interesting to see. As Boogie finally able to get a few units onto the Incans, but that's too little too late, I do assume. Interesting, the Romans. Yeah, they're coordinating well with the Incans as to what they're able to provide for that attack. I think even down here, that Legion and Archer pair, although it's not going to be deadly for Sanjay, it's keeping him honest and making it so Japan can't just commit everything to offense right now. And Team Boogie just never really managing to get off the ground here. You can see they've been on the back foot pretty much since the start. So it's getting tougher for them with every ticking turn that they are not able to enter their golden ages. Well, it's actually just the Celts that aren't in their golden age yet, but they're already done for by my estimation. Yeah, look at this. They're planning to take this road, and I think that's a correct move. It's very weakly defended, and only one single road connecting the backline cities and Lugdunum. It's going to be super difficult to defend for Red Bob once he loses that road. Good coordination there by Elk and Anti. Elk is known for not always being the easiest to coordinate with, but he's doing a great job here. We see those workers for the Celts. Yeah, alright, he's still holding on to them, and he isn't getting those back anytime soon, it seems. But the workers are definitely the least of his concerns right now. And he wants them back. Alright, it's not... Yeah, he's not gonna give them up that easily. It's super funny though. Uh, how he just took them away from him. Wow, that's an interesting plan from Quixote too. That third city, quite far apart from his other two. But I get it, it's a decent city to have with the luxuries too, the bonus grassland, and it's closer to the Celts, so it allows you to move in that direction faster. He's probably anticipating that he's going to take a Celtic city here soon, and then he's going to have to defend it, so expanding in that direction is going to be quite helpful. Alright, so they haven't spotted the Japanese boats in the backline yet, but they're going to take their time before they're getting over, so that's not going to be in time, I don't think, before the Celts are going to get pounced on. We see the workers being taken back successfully by the Incans. Hey, good job to Anti. He's gotten his boys back home. Oh, well, not back home, but back under his control. Good job by Ripops solidifying those roads here. I doubt it's going to be enough to hold on those roads for good, but yeah, he's making it difficult. He's selling himself out much more expensively than it seemed at first. Interesting. Looks like he's actually making a push back for those workers. I don't know. I don't think that's what Red Bob's going to come in for. He's realizing that pressure is getting turned up on him. I don't think those are the best. Wow, he even rolled for that 1-for-1 trade. Yeah, he's not taking ideal trades right now at home. I wonder if he's gonna be able to hold on to those roads. That's a problem for him. You can see between those cities here, he's only got one tile roaded each. So if he loses either of those roads, that's one of his cities cut off. We see El Quixote now. He's gonna end of turn attack into one of those roads right now. I think he didn't get it off in time. It looked to me as though he got it off at the start of the next turn, but that's not all too important. He's gonna take that road sooner or later, I gotta imagine. Though it's taken its time, and the Celts are holding on for a while. Even another warrior reinforcing, but finally the road is taken by the Romans. Catapults for the Celts are going to be helpful in defending against the legions too, but I don't think he's got that many of it. Good job by Alkivos, able to get the road. Although it seems like he lost a few units, he also got rid of a bunch of Celts there. So Ripop's now in real hot water, being forced to retract units from his south and try and move them up north to hold on to those cities there. I wonder how long he's going to be able to hold on. The Incans. What happened to their chariots? Didn't I see Incan chariots earlier? Did he lose them in a skirmish over the road, or what happened there? He doesn't have any chariots or horsemen left, so clearly must have missed something. But interesting. The Japanese boats are over here. In case you're wondering, the Incans have fortified their boat here, meaning as soon as you fortify your boat, you're gonna get an extra range of vision, one extra tile of vision there. So he's able to see the Japanese boats without them spotting him. He even kills one off here. Great roll for the Incans. Kills one of the Japanese boats before it can even land. Nice assassination here by Antiquity, and able to move out afterwards too without even losing his boat. So it's going very well for Team Anti on all fronts here. Able to prevent the Japanese landing before anything goes wrong. The road's been taken here to Ripop City, and they're really starting to crumble here. You can see Ripop still, unfortunately, not able to really get involved in offense. And Boogeyman himself is only on 2 cities now. Probably got a 3rd settler out if I had to guess. Samaria. No, he doesn't even have another one yet. He's just so weak at home right now. Oh well, so weak in general. He's not going to be a real threat to any opponent. He's trying to help out. I respect the attempt. He's trying to get more units onto the Incans, but that's not gonna enough to detract them from trying to kill the Celts here in the next turn or two. And Rome is so scary, especially another great Rome game here from El Quixote. Rome is really starting to emerge as the sleeper OP pick in this tournament. As you can see right there, the win rates are flying by you in the bottom right corner. Rome and Aztecs, the two best civs in this tournament in terms of win rate, and we see why. It's just so difficult to deal with the Romans once they get off the ground. Those legions are almost impossible to remove out of your empire. And they're trying to get that road over here in the west too. They're trying to cut off the capital from the Celts. They're trying, but oh, it's difficult. They only got one unit onto that road, and I think they're actually potentially trying to hit Alesia this turn. I'm not sure. It looks like they are. The city is crumbling, and it's been taken too. I am sadly not able to save the game here. We're gonna get a crash coming in. Sadly, I also didn't check how many units were left there for the Romans. But that's not all that important. Good job killing there. Great coordination between Anti and Elk. Taking both roads that connected Alesia and then taking the city out. 2 legions, just so powerful. The Celts, again, we see another game of the Celts. That's the 9th straight loss in this tournament here for the Celts, probably, because I don't see their team coming back from this one. I don't see how this is, how this is going to turn around. So again, another case of the Celts not ever being able to get their iron hooked and to start producing those Gallics. Well played though as well for Boogie and for Elk and Anti. They double teamed him very effectively there. And poor Red Bob, I respected his defense there, but there was probably nothing he could really have done there at the end to avert that kill anymore. So I gotta see if they end up forfeiting the game now or if they want to reload it. In case they want a reload, they're of course going to be granted one. We'll see what they end up thinking about it. I got to restart the game, and then we'll see whether or not these folks want to play on. Quite unfortunate there for Team Obi. They really weren't able to get a hold in this game. And Team Anti did a great job of capitalizing. Booting the game back up, and we'll see whether or not these folks want to play on. Jokes being made in the chat. All right, give these guys just a second to reassemble for the reload, and we're gonna get back in. Still waiting for everybody to get back in the game, so can only wait and be patient here. Oh, it's only one player missing, so we're gonna get back in rather soon, I imagine. All right, we're getting back in here in just a sec. Everybody's assembled for the reload, and Team Obi is gonna stand their ground and go down fighting, trying to claw this one back somehow. All right. Oh, dang it. I got the wrong. Bruh. I gotta find the correct save to load here. I'm sorry, guys. Found it. All right. It's oftentimes a bit of a struggle to find the correct save to load because sometimes a few turns end up ticking by before I can quit. But we got there. We got there. We're getting into the game, back in here in the next 10 seconds. So get ready, everybody. As we try and see how and what Obi can do here to somehow avenge the death of the teammate. First of all, though, you see right there, we gotta have the Celts go down again. Rome gonna try and take Alesia again. Hopefully, he's gonna be able to do that. Would be quite unfortunate if the take failed this time around. Gotta try and go for the kill again here. That's yeah, he's hitting Alesia again. Hopefully, he's gonna get the city this time around too. Sounds about right. All right, and I got the save. Kismic. Joking around here a bit. I appreciate it. But good job by Elk and Anti. I commentated on this at length, how they did a great job of setting up that kill. And now, a little bit under the radar flew Kismic as he was preparing for his stack as well. We might just see another kill here come in relatively soon, because Persia has been in that golden age for all this time, preparing Immortals. I'm not gonna say that this stack is a surefire kill, because it's a bit difficult to outproduce 3 Japanese cities in Golden Age. So if Sanjay made enough arches, he should be able to take out this Immortal stack, I believe. A boat now for Elk as well. I like it. He made that coastal city and put it to good use. I wonder where Japan's boat went. Apparently it just went back home, trying to maybe now put pressure on the Persians again, while Cusco has got a little bit of an arson problem again. It's fine though. It's fine. They'll be able to cope. So now it's Sumer and Japan against the world, and the world has come knocking on Japan's door too. That stack of Immortals is nothing to scoff at. And honestly, his best bet is to just take all his archers and samurai and hit into the stack. There's barely any defensive bombard in there. Honestly, that's what he should do. He should try and get the attack off himself. You see, I think he's moving for it, but I'm not sure if he got the attack off. It does look like it though, so good play by the Japanese. I fully agree with the move he's made here. He's trying to get the first attack off, and he's going to be able to do more damage that way as opposed to the Persians hitting into him. He's getting a few kills off. I'm not quite sure how the rolls are going for him, but it's gonna need to bring units up from Tokyo too. Why didn't he use the swordsman now? He's not quite utilizing all of his units to the maximum extent. But maybe maybe he doesn't have anything left underneath there, because he would otherwise open himself up to getting moved on by the Romans here, who are still chilling outside his land. And now I think the counterattack is gonna come in. He didn't clear out that many units actually. I thought he was gonna be able to kill more of them, and now he's getting counterattacked, or is he? This isn't looking too advantageous for the Japanese right now. I think he's still hitting actually there with the swordsman out of Kyoto. Decent play. I gotta say, he's doing the absolute right thing. He uses every single 2 attack unit that he's got to try and clear out Immortals. And look at this. Now it's looking much better for him. He's got a lot of these guys cleared out, and I don't even think they're going to be able to get through to Osaka anymore at this point. Very well played by Sanjay. He struggled a bit in defending big stacks in this tournament before, so I gotta compliment his effort in this one. How is Kismet gonna go about this? Is he gonna move on to Kyoto here possibly? He's got the avenue open, but he's not able to move the stack end of turn. I think he's actually hit into the archer stack down here, but that's gonna be incredibly costly for him. And you can see the entire stack has just been evaporated here by Japan. Nicely done by Sanjay. Kismet getting a bit too optimistic there while moving his big investment in, and he's gonna be absolutely shattered by this development. Persia absolutely, well, yeah, he's gonna be near useless now for the remainder of this game. Of course, he's still gonna provide more value than the Celts who've been killed, so overall it's still an advantageous game for Team Anti, don't get me wrong, but a nice drop by Sanjay on that defense here. Can't do anything but compliment him. Now he's gonna have to, however, deal with El Kyoto. He's probably gonna transition his units over there to Japan. But Kismet, he wanted to go for the hero play here and get the kill on his own. Had he waited for Elk to transition his legions over to Japan, they almost surely would have been able to get the 2v1 kill there, just like they did on the Celts. But I respect the effort, right? You want to go and balls on the table, show up your opponents, and that's what he managed to do there. Well, what he wanted to do there, he didn't manage, of course. Great defense by Sanjay. How is it looking in the north? Well, it's now Anti who's more the defensive end. He's just walling off the Sumerians here, protecting himself against whatever Boogie would be trying to do there. He's not in great danger at all, so he's fine with how things look, I believe. He doesn't want to make a move on the Sumerians, I don't think. So maybe he's gonna start stacking horses finally. He does have them, right? Yeah, he's got the horses underneath Ollantay Tambo. So I'd like to see him actually make some chariots now and get involved that way, because he doesn't really have a great way. The enemies are so far away that some horsemen would be quite useful in on offense. Anything else it's a bit difficult to get onto your opponent. Although you could argue that maybe he's going to be able to just road up to whoever he wants to attack. And with a road, you can even make great use of swordsmen across a larger length and distance. So still maybe some value available there too. He's still trying to make some boating action happen on the Sumer, possibly just to keep them honest, because he knows that Kismet just lost a huge stack on offense and he's very weak at home, presumably. So Anti actually bothering the Sumerians a bit is a good play in order to keep them honest at home and make them unable to commit all in on the Persians now to try and capitalize on that stack being killed in Japan. I still don't think, I still don't think that Kismet's gonna get away just like that unscathed. He would be in trouble if Japan was able to make a move on him, but I assume Elk is gonna come help him out here in a second. I assume the Romans are gonna pressure the Japanese. Otherwise, they could now turn the script around and actually go pressure Persia, I assume. Let's check out what Persia's actually got left. After a few turns after this attack had hit, he practically had nothing at all at home. He's now building back up a bit, but that's really not much to speak of. Contrast this with Japan, who's still got a way bigger army left. So he's possibly now able to pressure Kismet. Who knows, though? He's really gonna need to get that assistance from Rome, I believe, in order not to get overrun by the Japanese now. Elk gonna get a city on the inland lake as well. I like that play. He moved up the settler here on this forest. That city gonna be able to provide boats for both the inland lake and the outside ocean. So another point of pressure there for Japan to consider. And in a 2 versus 3, it's just so unlikely that you're gonna be able to pull out the victory. And the biggest disadvantage here is that you just absolutely tout down on defense, right? It's not that even if you've got big stacks of units, you're not likely to be able to use them on offense because there's always one more enemy player than on your team, and that makes it so they always got someone who's gonna have time to bother you at home and not allow you to move out to get a kill. So that's the biggest issue here I see for Team OB, is that they're just gonna get you can see it right there, right? Elk just being annoying, landing some legions in their land, and those units aren't gonna kill Japan, but they're just gonna bind a few of their units at home and therefore make it impossible to actually take out Persia. So yeah, I don't see the obvious play for Team OB. Maybe some boats are gonna have to get the job done. Finally, we see a galley go inland and try and get to Rome that way, but I think that's a bit late. Elk built up well enough defensive units at home now, so that he probably is not going to have to worry about single boats coming in. That boat could have done a lot of damage earlier when Elk was committing for the attack on Red Bob, but the great coordination there from Team Anti is just not there on the side of Team Obi. They weren't able to help each other out in time. And off the get-go, maybe that's also to be chalked up to the much longer time it took Team OB to get the communications from all their team members. That just slowed them down off the start. And you can contrast this or you can compare this even to single-player games. In single-player games, the earlier you get contact with the AI players, the quicker you're going to be able to attack, no matter how great your land is or anything. A player that's got that, or in a game where you have 10 turns earlier contact with the AI, you're always going to be able to attack quicker than in a game where you got great land but don't meet anybody for the first 30 turns of the game. Because that's just how it works, right? The earlier you're able to share attacks, the quicker you're going to get off the ground. Maybe that's also what played a part in Team Anti taking this early lead. Sanjay slowly inching over with the boat. He's now gonna get spotted though. Elk with that random archer on the mountain, getting great vision of all this ocean here, spotting that Japanese boat. Not that it would have been particularly much trouble for him to handle otherwise, I don't think. But Sanjay gonna probably even not even attempt the landing at this point, I don't think, getting spotted here. And yeah, that's always for all of you guys out there who are trying to make boating plays work. That's why you don't want to move your boats at the middle of the turn. Because if you run out of movement points, like Sanjay has here, and you end on a tile where the enemy can see you, he's just gonna prepare his defense, and you're not gonna be able to get anything off there. 20 turns left in this one. 2 kills at least required for Team Obi to take back the scoring, or well, to avert a scoring loss. So they're gonna need 2 kills at least, and I don't see this happening for them. Respect to Sanjay, he's played a better game than he's done before in this event. I don't think it's gonna be enough, however. The opponent had a stacked lineup, and you see right here why. The approach to the game just so much more streamlined and effective. And Boogie, really, no kill threat coming from him, I don't think. 3 cities are relatively early GA, not a lot of production for him. I don't think he's got the tools necessary to even threaten someone. And it looks like here with the next little Persian stack coming out, it looks like Anti and Kismic are gonna try and go for the second kill here. Actually, try for the Sumerians of all people, who are typically tough to kill, but in this one might just be able to be taken out because they're relatively small here and haven't that great of a time building up. And wow, it looks like they don't even have contact between Japan and Samaria. That's just painful there. If they weren't even able to trade tax for the entirety of this game, don't even have maps from each other, I don't see how this works out in their favor. Now maybe the stray boat from Sanjay from earlier, maybe that can get some work done here. You see Kismet getting a little bit greedy here. He's moving out that stack and really not leaving anything behind. Sanjay is quick enough, he might be able to actually get a kill off that. And one single kill is not going to be enough, but it's a start here. They're going to need 2 at least, as I said. Maybe that's going to be the start to an amazing comeback here. Unlikely as it is. I still think Kismek should take this into consideration and make sure he's covering his backline city. But you never know. Sargade looking awfully vulnerable as of now, and Anti moving further inland with his units. The plan right here is quite clear, right? We've got Incan spamming units over there to the Sumerians. We've got the Persian stack moving out. They're gonna try and do the same thing that they did to the Celts. I wonder if it's gonna work this well in the north as well. Sumeria just much tougher on defense than the Celts are. You also see Japan moving out with their stack. Probably now realizing they gotta get onto Persia, otherwise this one's gonna be over rather soon. Persia moving forward. They're all taking their time. Anti moving on through with his boat too. He's again spotting that Japanese boat. I assume he's gonna give a heads up to Kismek that Sanjay could come into his backline, and I think he did. That's why Kismek probably retreated back with that archer, and now is starting to get units back in his city. Good job by Anti, actually keeping track of the galleys from Japan. That could have been otherwise a very unnecessary death for his team. And I'll look at Rome. It's so massive. Got 5 cities at this point. Huge score. Comparable to the Incans even. And he's now even gonna get involved in Japan too, getting more units on over there. And yeah, you can see right there, Sanjay giving up on that galley. He's been spotted, and that's why you don't want to move those boats during the turn. You always want to make the boat moves end of turn, so the enemy has as little time as possible to spot your stuff. In comes another Roman galley, actually. He sees that Kyoto isn't defended particularly well, but he also sees the stack right outside the city. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult to actually get something off there. Wonder if he's going to even try to land as Kyoto catches fire here. Right, he's actually going for a hit onto Tokyo, and the city looks rather weak. Decent play there by Elk. I didn't think that Tokyo was so vulnerable, but it looks like he almost got Sanjay into hot waters there. He's now blocking that road. It's only 2 legions, but 2 legions are tough to clear out. It's going to cost a lot of units probably for Japan to get rid of that block. And he needs to take the road back, otherwise Tokyo is in trouble next turn when this legion gets his attack back. Alright, there the Incans for fortifying that naval border here. Sanjay has had that galley hang around there for quite a while. I wonder if he's even got any units in it. Otherwise, not sure why he hasn't landed yet. Maybe he's waiting for Kismek to move out at home, maybe waiting for an announcement from Boogie that the Persians are on his border, and that's when he's gonna go. But he's been spotted now by the Incans, so that boat as well, sadly falling through. He just hasn't found the angles in the game so far. Not able to get any surprise landings off. 16 turns remaining. Oh boy. There we go. He didn't take that road back, surprisingly. He's got the spearman into Tokyo. That's the most important part. It looks like that spearman has defended that legion sufficiently well for him to at least not die here. I wonder why he wouldn't hit into those legions, though. Maybe he actually just assumed he couldn't die there and thought he had better odds defending them, well, on defense rather than actively going for the play. But guess he got rewarded there. And yeah, he stays alive. It's just, that's not what this game is about anymore. At this point, you can't win by just staying alive. So, as you can see right there, they don't even have particularly much score. So at this point, you're gonna need 2 kills very soon, or possibly if you're not getting those, even all 3 kills in order to win this one. and the Incans really are as far from dying as they could possibly be at this point. Interesting, good observation by Anti as well. He's doing the floor general duties here. He's spotting all the Japanese units, and that's what I was saying earlier, right? When you got units out there around your land spotting the enemy, that gives you so much more leeway at home. And Anti's doing a great job of keeping track of the Japanese here. He spotted the boats earlier, and now he's spotting their stack moving forward. So that allows Elk to hard commit onto Japan and Kismik to muster his defenses, as we just got there in time. The Persian stack has finally reached Samaria, and that's the second kill of the game for Team Anti. At this point, I'm not sure if they're going to go for another reload. Maybe Sanjay wants to actually hit with his stack and get to try and kill Persia there. But realistically, that should settle it. Again, I'll talk to these guys whether or not they want to reload. Probably not going to happen, but yeah, I'll give them the chance, of course. All right, gonna have to come back here, of course. So again, gotta restart the game. It's a tedious process whenever these kills come through, but I'm of course glad we get those kills. Don't get me wrong, much rather see a game with a few reloads and a bunch of kills than a 70-turn build fest. So well played to Team Anti here. They really earned this one. A bit of an easier matchup in terms of player strength, as I said at the start, but they played that well. And besides Kismik's multiple close-ish encounters with death, their victory really was never in great danger. All right, let's see. What are these guys saying? All right, yep, Sanjay conceding this one. He's the lone left player on his team. So there we go. That's our first game of our finals. Antiquity's team takes the lead 1-0 up in the series. 3 victories required to win the tournament. Game 2 is going to happen relatively soon, actually, in 5.5 hours. So make sure to come back for that one. As you're going to get a fresh game with fresh players. Not sure who's going to be playing that one. Maybe Team Obi's going to be able to field the better squad that time around. We'll see. Stay tuned for that one. 5.5 hours around and about is where game 2 of the finals is going to take place. Congrats to Anti's team for taking the lead here. Can Obi strike back? Or is Anti going to move to match point at the end of the day? We'll see. Have a good rest of the day and make sure not to miss the next game here 5 to 6 hours from now. I'll see you guys back then. Technical difficulties there, sorry. But we're at the end anyways. So catch you all later. Stay safe.